If you think losing fat means starving yourself, you've been taught the wrong way, because starving doesn't just make the process harder, it actually makes it less effective. You feel drained, you lose energy, you lose muscle, and eventually, you burn out. So let's fix that, because fat loss is not about eating as little as possible. It's about creating the right system, one that works with your body, not against it. Let's start with the biggest misconception. Eating less equals faster results. That sounds logical, but your body doesn't work that way. When you eat too little, your body adapts. Your metabolism slows down, your energy drops, and your body holds on to fat instead of burning it. So instead of starving, you need a controlled calorie deficit. That means eating slightly less than what your body needs, not drastically less. Because sustainable fat loss comes from consistency, not extremes. Now let's talk about protein. This is one of the most important parts of fat loss. Protein helps preserve muscle while you're losing weight, and muscle is what keeps your metabolism higher. It also keeps you fuller for longer, which means you're less likely to overeat. So if you're trying to lose fat faster, increasing your protein intake is one of the simplest changes you can make. Now let's talk about training, because a lot of people rely only on cardio, running, walking, burning calories. And while cardio helps, it's not the most effective way to lose fat on its own. Strength training is key because it builds muscle, and muscle increases your calorie burn even when you're not working out. So instead of choosing one, combine both. Strength training for muscle, cardio for additional calorie burn. Now let's talk about consistency, because this is where most people struggle. They start strong, they follow a strict plan, but it's too restrictive, too extreme, and eventually they fall off. So instead of going all in, focus on what you can sustain, a plan you can follow not just for a week, but for months. Because fat loss is not about short-term effort, it's about long-term habits. Now let's talk about hunger, because this is one of the biggest concerns. You don't want to feel like you're starving, and you don't have to. Choosing the right foods makes a big difference. Foods that are high in volume but lower in calories, like vegetables, fruits, and lean proteins, help you feel full without overeating. So instead of eating less food, you're eating smarter food. Now let's talk about sleep, because this is often overlooked. Lack of sleep affects your hormones. It increases hunger, it reduces your energy, and it makes fat loss harder. So if you're not sleeping well, you're making the process more difficult than it needs to be. Now let's talk about stress, because stress also plays a role. When you're stressed, your body produces cortisol, and high cortisol levels can make it harder to lose fat, especially around your midsection. So managing stress is not just good for your mental health, it's part of your fat loss strategy. Now let's talk about progress, because a lot of people expect fast results. They want to see changes immediately, and when they don't, they get discouraged. But real fat loss takes time, and progress is not always linear. Some weeks you'll see changes, some weeks you won't, but that doesn't mean it's not working. Now here's the shift. Instead of focusing only on the scale, look at other signs, how your clothes fit, your energy levels, your strength, because fat loss is not just about weight, it's about body composition. Now let's bring this together. Losing fat faster doesn't mean starving yourself. It means creating a smart system, a controlled calorie deficit, enough protein, strength training, cardio, good sleep, stress management, and consistency. Because when all of these work together, that's when results happen. So if you've been struggling, if you've been trying extreme methods that don't last, take a step back, simplify the process, focus on what works, and give your body what it needs. Because the goal is not just to lose fat, it's to do it in a way you can maintain, and that's what leads to real lasting results.